Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest in the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today is a very special episode. So we were doing our Athena's Solutions segment, and I'm bringing back onto the show our co-host Alex Kangun. And first off, he brought back. So Alex, for some backstory for everybody watching this, Alex he books the guests. He leads the conversation, especially on the tech side. I'm not moonlighting as a VP of engineering in any way, but he brings a guest to me, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is a unique name. I was like, wait a minute, I've had him on the show before, and we'll get into that. So we have Kinnar Vora, who's VP of Engineering over at Forward Financing, on the show today. So Alex, welcome back. Kinnar, man, welcome back as well. I don't always get to say that. Good to see you guys.
Nice to see you. Nice to welcome Kinnar. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. Great to be back on the show.
All right, Kinnar. Yeah, we got to get that story out first off. So, how long ago do you think it was when you were on this show? It's been a while.
It's really been a while. I think if I look back, that was 2022 or so. It feels like eternity.
Yeah. And was I think you said I was like one of your first interviews, yeah?
Yeah, that's correct. I think I met you and Chirag, I think the co-founder. And with you guys, I think I ended up writing in the book as well, the
Yep.
leadership book. I think we ended up writing, and then you helped me with the podcast. So yeah, it's been a long time, but I'm telling you, like
Yeah.
it set really a good foundation for some of the ones I think you remember. You mentioning how leaders should create their own brand. I think it's a little bit
Mm.
of that. So yeah, it's been a while, but very happy to be back here.
Come on, that's what I'm talking about. And normally like to kick it off this way. So, Alex, how'd you meet Kinnar? Like, you can invite a lot of different guests. Like, why Kinnar? Why now? Sorry, Kinnar. I know you can hear this. No.
No, so it's interesting. I'm looking for very special technical people with a business head
Mm,
on, and also with the companies that have mission, some concrete mission. In the
mm,
past, we were included people from the companies that helping people finding jobs, training
mm,
people, forward financing companies that Kinnar is working. They specializing in financing small businesses in
mm.
Boston. And this is my hometown, so it was natural. And name Kinnar came because he's a very like VP of engineering, so he's
Mhm.
knows what he's talking, and plus he published a book, and I think it will be incredible valuable for audience to hear the front line people on the
Yeah,
all the things that happening in the market now.
it's great. So, Kinnar, let's get started here. Maybe just start with Alex gave us a little bit, but maybe go further. So, forward financing, maybe start with the company and what it does.
Yeah, so forward financing does revenue-based financing. It's a new term, and
Mhm.
I can explain that in a bit for SMB customers, small and medium-sized customers. So up till now, we've had more than 90K plus customers that we've funded.
Mm,
We are a high-growth, mid-sized company, and the way revenue-based financing is different is not technically a loan, but the idea
mhm,
is that we can give you the money, or we call it a capital. From the time you submit between 2 to 4 hours, we can do it really that fast. But we
mm,
only take money based on the revenues that you are generating. So it's kind of a
mm,
slightly different model. We don't take necessarily equity, but we kind of take it that way. So it's a
mm,
model that's become really popular. The company has been around for 14 plus years now. And
mhm,
really, our bigger objective, as Alex was saying, it's about to help the small and medium sized businesses because they are actually, don't remember the
mm,
exact stat, but it's like 50 to 60% of our economy is driven by small business
mm.
sellers, right? I think it's a pretty big significant. So we would like to do our part in helping them kind of grow.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm guessing based on the quantity that you mentioned, so all small businesses you kind of work with, so it's industry agnostic, like all of that. Like, I just want to make sure I understand.
There are some industries that we don't support.
Mm,
I think like casinos is one and others. So we don't necessarily support smaller industries. I
yeah,
don't know if casinos are smaller per se, but
yeah, yeah.
some of the industries are prohibited industries.
Mhm,
But for the most part, we have industries like you'll find trucking is kind of one of our biggest one
mhm,
and others. So I think we
mm.
other
How
other
long have
than
you been
the
there, by the way? How long have you been with them?
it's a little over a year actually. Yeah, it's been a
Mm,
little bit over a year. But yeah, from my background perspective,
yeah.
Adam, I think my journey has been all with small and medium-sized customers for the last six,
Hmm.
7 years. Initially, I worked with the SMB customers for their business operations, like printing
Mm,
software, accounting. Then when I went to Amazon, which is when you and I connected,
yeah.
at that point, I was working with creating a Buy with Prime program, which is for small and medium-sized customers, but Amazon was creating a whole new program. And
Mm,
that's what I created. And then later on, when I was looking for a new role, this is what I found. So still been in
mm,
the same space to help helping out small and medium-sized customers, but like different dimensions of it, right? So lending is kind of a very unique space. It's a highly regulated space. So being kind of here now. Yeah.
And let's bring in some of the tech side of the discussion. So I'll let you kind of lead this one, Alex. So get in there, man.
Sure. So, Kinnar, question for you. Tomorrow morning, what the first things you wake up, what's worrying you? Kind of like when you have your first cup of coffee, are you checking email, what you will be looking for?
I think, it's a very highly contextual question. But what I'll say is one of the things we are looking for is how do you grow faster as a company, right? Growth is kind of one of the biggest thing on mind, right? And we are at this point where we are going to launch our couple of AI agents to production pretty soon. So that's kind of what's top of mind right now is what are we doing to get some of these AI agents out? How fast are we learning? Like last week, I was at a conference out here, which was a very technical conference. I learned from it. So really, if you think about it, when I'm having my coffee, I'm thinking everything about AI right now. It's probably a very cliche answer, but I think that's what's kind of always on top of mind.
It should be though right now. Like that has to be. Like if somebody said that wasn't in their mind and they're sitting in your shoes like that's a little bit of a problem, wouldn't you think?
That's right. But I also want
I mean,
to
from your shoes, like VP engineering at a financing company, come on.
Yeah. AI is just, I think, such a generational technology that not only is it helping us do like more faster from an application standpoint, but the technology itself is changing so fast that you got to keep like both sides of the equation. I'm pretty sure Alex is going to kind of touch on that as application development has changed, but the technology is changing too. Because previously, I think we used to have at least one of the pillars constant. Oh, I know how to do software development. My process is pretty well known, right? Now go build unique things. But now you're saying technology is changing and what you can build constantly changes. You're in this like massive flux, right? And there's a very different way of operating in this kind of new time that we have here.
Very interesting. Kinnar, you mentioned technology. I just want to take a little side route. For technology, the main goal of technology is to support a business objective. In the beginning, you mentioned growth. Can you expand a little bit like AI agents, how they will support business growth, where the growth will come from?
So I think before I kind of jump into AI agents, right, I think it's very important to know that any technology that is kind of, brought forward, either it's invented or new technologies that come up, always supports the core business hypothesis that you have, right? Now, granted, AI is again a generational technology that it's creating a whole new set of businesses that may potentially pop up. Like, the famous Sam Altman said, now you can have solopreneurs who can have billion-dollar valuations, right? Because the technology is supporting that. But leaving that aside, I just want to kind of clarify very clearly is our goal as a company has always been high growth. What the AI technology is doing is accelerating that growth. And again, we are doing it in the form of building an agent, right? So to answer your question directly, we have certain goals. So we have our new CEO. His name is Jason Millens. He joined a few months before me. So he's been here for now a year and a half as well. And he comes from a larger company. He's also a builder. In this day and age of AI, we call everybody to be a builder now. And he, one of the things that surprised me about him is AI is such a, very unique technology and it affects all dimensions of your company or all industries that you need someone like a CEO to kind of, help manage kind of that roadmap or help bring everyone together. And he's been able to absorb all of that. So where I think the growth is coming, and I can also talk a little bit structurally how we are structured too, Alex, a little bit is we have this whole notion of an AI lab. So what we did was I have a pretty large engineering team, which is using AI to kind of improve their productivity and all. But what I'm specifically referring to, we created like an AI lab at the beginning of the year. It's a small group of people led by me, and we directly kind of have a dotted line to the CEO. And he tells us what the business challenges he's seeing, and we create like products or technologies that can, address that. So this agent that I'm talking about, I can't go into specifics of the agent, so please don't ask that. But I can tell you the agent that we're going to launch is really helping us kind of accelerate in that. So we talk about faster speed to not just deploy, but faster speed in terms of what the agent can do. Cost-wise, we think it's going to be more cost-effective. And then the accuracy is improved as well, right? So I think that's kind of how we're looking at growth is the CEO brings us the business challenges or what he wants to fundamentally improve, be it processes and whatnot. And then we kind of club that in the lab with looking at technologies and figuring out some solutions. And we are like We're literally a lab. We break stuff. We enjoy breaking stuff. We break stuff and then we showcase it to the company and whatnot, saying, hey, we tried this. We didn't even know what we are doing. Oh, but now we know what we are doing, right? And then that's how I keep learning. Yeah.
You guys are like the AI Avengers.
That's a cool term. I may use that, huh, Adam?
You should. You're breaking stuff. You're like, that building had to go. No.
I really laugh. I love the movie Avengers, and I'm going to use this one. I'm going to steal it.
I'll give you one more. So typically we use for AI, we're using term AI sandbox, where the same things. People can build stuff, break it fast, learn from it.
Yeah.
Do you mind, since it's a great concept, do you mind? You said you can share how you structure it. Do you mind share it?
Sure. So a couple things I can talk about is one, I talked about the team structure. So we have this notion of an AI lab. And the way we build a team, it's a small team of like 4 engineers in there, plus me. Each of the engineers is fairly independent. Like you can give them an ambiguous problem statement and they can figure out the technology and how to solve it, right? We as a group actually cut across every single department within the company. So we actually talk to strategy and finance, we talk to PNC team or HR team, which is people and culture team, and all the other teams. And what that does for us is we get a holistic view of what each of the teams are doing and what are the common asks that are coming in, right? So we kind of go tackle that. So small team, but I like to say we are a very powerful team because we can do so much more because we've been given that autonomy to kind of work with. Now, to take this concept a little bit further, let's talk about a couple of mindsets that we use, right? One of the biggest mindsets that we've seen, and I can talk a little bit about failures. That's one of the things that comes when you talk about test and learn, right? So we have really worked very hard, and it's an ongoing process. It's not a destination, it's a journey on how to take every single project and do a test and learn on it, right? Which means that we always call out a hypothesis. We think we want to do this, right? Sometimes you do that and you say, oh, I really didn't want to do this. I wanted to do something else. So one, you could change your destination, but the other thing is the way you build it could also change. So we don't think about, I'll say this was very interesting. What is the difference between a mistake and a failure? I was at the fault of using that interchangeably too. And the difference is when you say you made a mistake, which means there was a right answer. Whereas a failure means I didn't know what I was going to do and I tried it, but then I failed at it, which is okay. Failure is okay because you didn't know what the end goal was supposed to be. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to take ourselves a little bit further by saying, one, don't make the same, failures again. Hopefully you're doing different failures and hopefully you're doing intelligent failures, which means sometimes you have to shoot for the stars, right? AI as a technology is allowing you to do that. So one, there's a team structure notion. Second, we are cross-functionally, working with different teams. And, we have this lot of these different cadences. We have working group sessions, once or twice a week. We have different Slack channels where we communicate. We have a lot of learning loops. So like once a month, either we'll go out or our PNC, which is our people and culture team, will set up like these learning sessions. I did an AI workshop with our leadership team. I think it was a month ago or so. Just, take a small problem statement and see what you can do in an hour or 30 minutes, right? And it's amazing. People are surprised, like, wow, I could do so much in such a short amount of time. And that's the power you're trying to teach, right? So coming back again, that's the structural stuff, test and learn, make intelligent failures. And then what encompasses all of it is obviously psychological safety, right? You cannot say to people, go try something that you're not comfortable with. And when they so-called fail, or if they create an intelligent failure, you go and slap their hand, right? You cannot do that. So we're trying to be very mindful about that. It is okay to shoot for the stars and fail because we're going to learn from it. So the whole idea is learning, because means you can ask anybody in there. My humble opinion is nobody knows how the technology is going to evolve and what the capabilities will be. It's just changing so rapidly right now.
Interesting. I think you're bringing a very good concept in terms of having small agile team with a dotted line to executive, be able to have enough mandate to make be successful and make you don't want to use mistake, make learning possible. So this is a key, I think, assumption. Kinnar, do you mind talk a little bit like in your experience, how much data and data quality are important for your successes?
It's extremely important. I think it goes without saying. If you want to call the house of AI, is built on the foundation of data, right? So that is the foundation. Absolutely no doubt about that. So one of the things, by the way, we've done ourselves too, because we have a pretty large data and analytics team, and we looked at our data quality, and we are building a lot of tooling as well, because data quality is not a one-time task; it's an ongoing task, right? So we are creating a lot of governance models. We're getting some tools in, but at this point, I would say if your data is not of good quality, the AI cannot produce good results, right? Like it's the inputs that you give to the AI on what it's making the decisions on. If that is not fully accurate or fully clean, then you're not going to get the answers that you expect. So to answer your question, yes, it is. And, we have like the governance model, some process, and we're getting some tooling in, which again changes every single day. Where, I think you can ask Adam probably. Since the time I spoke to him, I probably have a lot more gray hair, but, that's a part of that comes with the territory, I guess.
Yeah, look, well, I have one last question. Assume you're successful. Tomorrow you get promoted. Somebody new comes to your place. What advice would you give to him, saying like, learn this, don't repeat my mistake, make sure this would happen, something?
Well, that's a great question. It's something, succession plan I always think about. I also think about, what are the skills. I think if I had to say this, and I've done an AI talk, by the way, in October of last year. I did a keynote on AI stuff, and I'm going to pick some items from there, right? The newer skills in this age of AI are going to be curiosity. I already mentioned learning. It has to be comfortable with failures. And there is going to be a big dimension of working with people, but in a slightly different capacity. Like, I expect every leader to be hands on in their own way. If you're a pure people manager, I feel that role becomes becoming a little bit of a redundant role. Pure people management role, I don't know how I see them. I feel like you got to be able to contribute. And by the way, you can contribute, right? I think the thing is, all of these things are made possible. The stuff sometimes I hear about some of the non-tech executives are actually doing with the tooling is just impressed me. So going back to your answer, one, I talked about general set of skills that I would like someone who would probably take my role in to have. But because the other part of the question was, what are some of the mistakes I made that I would want the other person to not make? I would say it's really getting very comfortable with failure. Like, I like to say what everyone's relationship to failure is almost goes back to how you were sometimes even raised, right? Like for me, I grew up in India. And for me, giving the right answers, coming first, it's like, there was a lot of weightage being put on that, right? So you kind of constantly struggle, right? If I didn't do this right, like, am I succeeding or am I failing? It's a constant struggle, right? Even though I'm sitting here and saying that, there'll be days when I do something and it's okay to fail, but even then I would feel bad, right?
Yeah.
It's a process you can't get over. So I think what I'm trying to say is, for me, I think one of the biggest learning, which I would say to everyone is, it's okay to fail, okay? Don't beat yourself up. Constantly learn, move forward as hard as it is. And I think I've even read a bit of article on failures now, and I realized that it's like ingrained into our DNA. I think it's very hard to even take that out. Even they were talking about like scientists who actually only do this. They only fail most of the time. Even they kind of struggle with it, right? So I think it's human to kind of struggle with it. But I think that will be the one biggest thing I would say I wish I can do better and better.
You mentioned curiosity. I'm going to let you go with this one first, Kinnar, but then I want your opinion too, Alex. Can curiosity be taught? Like, I'm curious to know about curiosity. Can you teach that?
Wow, that's a very interesting one. I think the other way, I think it can be. That's my short answer.
Yeah.
The way you get to making people curious is to get through the layers of what's making them not curious. I think it's like, I don't want to make it sound like an antithesis, but there are reasons why people like this. I like to know exactly how things are going to work. Some people just like certainty. right? I get that. Okay. There are parts of time and things that I love certainty too, right? Like I love
Hmm.
my coffee or tea first thing in the morning. That's non-negotiable for me, right? If that's not there, then I'll be like basically freaking out a little bit, right? So that's a certainty model. Now, how do you apply uncertainty, which is in some ways curiosity, to dimensions of your life that you are comfortable with, right? So I think you kind of almost like when you talk about curiosity, everyone's curious, but it's just in different dimensions. And you want to start building that in all dimensions now, right? Because
Hmm.
AI is touching us. Like I remember this little saying, I told this to my wife and I was laughing at it. When I was a little kid, like 1 year old, my mom, she still tell me this. It's a little embarrassing, but I'll say it. When I was a kid and we used to play hide and seek, I was not very good at finding hiding places. So I would sit in the middle of the room and I'll sit in the middle of the room and close my eyes and hope nobody was watching me, right? And because after a while, people learn like I'm really bad at it, they will still go around trying to look for me and then they'll say, oh, we found you, right? And the reason I say that is if you try to do that with AI technologies today, that's exactly what you're doing if you're not learning. You're closing
Hmm.
your eyes and hoping it's not going to affect you. It is going to affect you, right? So trying to start getting curious, trying to start saying, this is uncomfortable for me. Let me go do that for a little bit, as much as
Hmm.
I can push myself. And then tomorrow I'll come back. It's going to be a new day and I'm going to push myself a little bit more, right? What will happen is, I think my personal saying is, you reach a aha moment. I personally reached that a couple of years ago. Is you realize this is not a tool. This is not just a made up technology. It's not fluff. And when it hits you, then there is no going back. When you learn for yourself the power of AI, that's when I think the aha moment hits, and then you never go back. So I think it's a curiosity can be taught. I think it's
Hmm.
just you have to push in the areas that you are maybe a little bit more comfortable in versus not, and but you constantly have to do that. It's just a reality of life now. I think, yeah.
Hmm. What about you, Alex? Can curiosity be taught? I got to get you in on this one.
Sure. So, I coming from a little bit different angle. I don't think it can be taught. I think curiosity is always there. You just need to create an environment where the people will feel comfortable, safely curious, fail, like Kinnar saying. Like they will be encouraged to try new things, encouraged to, fail or be open about, I tried this, it didn't work. Why do you think it does work? So if you establish kind of like safe environment, safety zone, or encourage, the people will come forward with curiosity. I think it's
Hmm.
always there. You just have to come up.
Hmm. I think curiosity is a big indicator of somebody's just how bought in they are to something. Could be the company, could be the project, could be whatever. I always look at that. Like if somebody's not, I'm just, some people have, that might be their superpower. Like literally, they're always curious. They're the borderline of nosy. That's probably me. That's why I do this job, right? Like if I'm, I'm curious, I'm like, I got questions. I don't have answers and whatever, but I got questions. So that's why I do this. But if you're looking at like staff or other things like that, when I can think about when I was in other roles, I was like in finance. Like I probably read outside of when I was in finance, that's over 10 years ago. I probably read outside of my profession, like professional certifications, CFPs and Series 7, Series 6, whatever, whatever. I probably read like maybe 200 books outside of what was required to me in my 14-year career in that business because I was genuinely interested in it. Like that's like you couldn't like force me to like do that. And I look at some of my colleagues and some read and did other things. Some they checked in and then they checked out. And when they checked out, they weren't reading a book that they didn't have to read or were required to or learn
Hmm.
something new. And for the people that, like you said, your hide and seek analogy, Kanar, there's no hide and seek for this because it's not even just for the skill set, it's for your value as an employee at the company for the front line. Because those that have that interest, like that real interest and are investing all pieces of themselves, they're going to get by faster. They're going to learn more faster. They're just going to have there's that space that of like the mediocrity, like the normal, the just kind of like the quiet quitting or whatever we want to call it. I don't know. Bunch of
Yeah.
terms they use in the past. Like that's just going to become really obvious because with AI you can't hide, man. I'm putting it in there. Where's Kinnar hiding? And it's like he's in his room. He's been in the room a bunch of times. Kinnar can't hide. Just go to his room and tag that boy. AI knows where you're at, Kinnar. Speaking of privacy, Alex, no.
Yes, correct. So I think I'm switching a little bit more.
Yeah.
Sir, we're dealing a lot with the data. So the curiosity, you can call, Adam, you call noisiness, annoyance, anything. It has to be encouraged, because I've seen many times when the people like drill into the problem, try to understand why, they come up with something new. It's like, oh, like aha moment. They're like, we didn't know this is why it's happening. We just ignore it. And this is and to get it, you have to be able to let people safely to discuss it, not shut them down. And their models that Kinnar discussing brought up, I think, at their AI lab. It's great way to encourage it to bring. And I'm sure probably, Kinnar, that other people want to get into your lab. They want to be part of it.
Yeah, it started
The
as
Avengers, man, the AI Avengers. Who doesn't with branding like that? I'm sorry, Alex, but my AI Avengers kills your sandbox. I'm sorry.
I know, yes.
My branding kills
Nothing,
you.
like,
I thought you had a good name, and then
how
he's
can you
like
compete with
Sandbox.
Avengers?
I'm like, Kinnar, what's he talking? I heard Sandbox before. Go ahead,
compete with
Kinnar. I'm sorry, I
Avengers.
couldn't
All
help it. I couldn't leave that
I
one,
think
Alex.
it's a rhetorical question at this point. Yes, everybody wants to join the AI Avengers team, I guess.
Oh man, then you can't show anybody this. You're in trouble now, Kinnar. I'm sorry to the CEO. I forgot the gentleman's name. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it. No. Oh
I
man.
think he's going to enjoy it actually once I tell him. Yeah,
Yeah.
AI Avengers is fun.
Well, this has been great, guys. Alex, another rock star guest, of course. Kinnar, awesome. Enjoyed the conversation. Kinnar, how do people, if they want to learn more about the company, follow your work, like how do people do that?
So the company, I think you can reach out to forwardfinancing.com. We have a lot of thought leadership on that website. If anyone's looking for, funding or some kind of money for their small businesses, you can actually do that as well. In order to reach out to me, people can reach out on LinkedIn. So they can find me on LinkedIn.
And Alex, if someone wants to learn more about Athena Solutions or Connect, how do they do that?
There is a website, athena-solutions.com, and I'd like to connect with people directly, so you can reach out to me on LinkedIn.
Fantastic. And for everybody listening, just so you know, we'll definitely put some links in the show notes. So you can just click on the links, head right on over. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with us and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. You heard me correct. Each and every day, we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way in your journey as well. So hit that subscribe or follow button. And Alex, Kinnar, man, appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you.